I need reunification therapy in order to have a relationship with the child. We could just do it. There's kids who've been abandoned by their parents for 5 or 10 years, and the dad has a eureka moment, wakes up, and the mother lets them see them, but they facilitate the relationship and try and work with that. So the mother is the bad faith contempt person who alienated the child, and you're rewarding her. And we have countless examples. This court, like I said, same thing I said before, this courthouse itself will drop kick children into total strangers' homes all day long.
Right.
Why can't you drop kick the child into the home of the father the child already had a bond with?
Right.
And when you have to presume that I act in the child's best interest, you assume that a teacher will look out for a child, that a daycare provider will look out for a child. You have to assume there's no U.S. Supreme Court case that says we assume that daycares and babysitters and schools act in the best interest of the child. In fact, there's child molesting teachers out there. So, but there's constitutional case law that says you have to assume if I act in the best interest of the child needs me. All the science says that the current order is dangerous to the child. Why would you further delay it and put a financial hoop or put a financial burden upon me in order to get the child that I already have an automatic constitutional right to? We have an unconstitutional order. The fact that you ordered it doesn't make it better. The fact that the governor of Mississippi wouldn't integrate the schools, he didn't negate the Constitution. Brown versus Board. Have you heard of Brown versus Board of Education before?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so Brown versus Board of Education didn't get negated when a governor in Mississippi said, "Oh, we're not going to let the kids integrate." When white people were blocking the black kids from doing it or threatening them, that didn't negate it. The Constitution is the Constitution. The culture refused to follow what was right. It took us. Plessy versus Ferguson was the one that Brown overruled. Plessy versus Ferguson said separate but equal is equal. And then they started looking up and saying the kids are going to schools, no air conditioning, no books, and no nothing. So for 60 years, we had Plessy versus Ferguson. It took 60 years to get Brown versus Board of Education. So, and even when they caught up to fairness and equity, people weren't doing it because the culture of the country. We have Troxel versus Granville from 2000. We have New Jersey laws. And we used to have a radical feminist-dominated court system, and it seems like there's still vestiges of that. And you're just going to presume whatever the mother says. We need to get out of that. And we have a white supremacist agenda to push black fathers out. That's been going on for 400 years, and the mother's doing that, and you're doing that. Why? Because the child doesn't know me? What's the number one answer to learn to get to know, on how to get to know somebody that you don't know? You spend time with them. You go on dates with somebody you like. You reunify a broken marriage, or you get back together, or like adoptive kids do, they go looking for their parents. There is no child rejects a parent. Just like no kid comes out of the womb racist. They have to be influenced of that. So if the child is apprehensive about seeing the father, it's because the mother created that culture in the home.
Good point.
And the mother's already been found in bad faith. So you just bomb them with all that stuff.
Great point. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I'm going to hit them from both angles. I mean, I got my child support hearing coming up. Hopefully they change my venue. I asked for a change of venue, but I'm going to go in there in the next day or two and file for the custody and put all that in there. And I'm going to keep on doing it every way possible. Shit, man. This is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep on fighting. I'm not stopping. I even had to file an affidavit with the sheriff's office in Ocean County that they didn't want to take, that they can't jail me or anything for unpaid child support. I've just been hitting everybody with affidavits all over the place. The license people, passport people.
Yeah, but
they're trying to mess with everything.
Right, but those structures are in place, and just because Brown versus Board of Education passed, that doesn't stop the governor from keeping black kids out of school in Mississippi.
Mm.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of people who are saying that, what black people should have done was continue to build their own Black Wall Streets and have their own stuff, their own money, their own community. Martin Luther King, actually, I just found this. I just heard somebody say it. He was saying, I think I'm pushing for, or we might be pushing our kids into a powder keg, or just the culture. It's like he had some regrets about the civil rights movement forcing integration, because if people don't want it, they don't want it. But the really root of the thing is you need to change people's hearts. And government forcing stuff has never worked on anything. And that's why I've told people, you got to win. You got to change the judges' hearts or fire them. and say, this judge has been voted out because specifically for their family law rulings. And judges will start changing their rulings. Like when I go out and protest a judge and I cite a court case to say this judge gave custody to a sex offender, that judge feels stupid because they have to go to work and everybody at work is talking about that judge. And they go look up the case and everybody knows that, and I'm citing facts, and I'm disturbing their bubble. But none of these podcast bitches want to dad talk today or the father's rights movement. All those guys are doing is talking about the horror stories and not doing anything about it. Like you're sitting there trying to upend the corruption. There's barely any fathers out there doing that. And there's fathers' rights groups that got budgets and money and hundreds of thousands of followers, but they don't want to do anything.
Right.
I just saw a dad talk today. He talked about this horror story. This guy, his kid was killed. He never got custody of his kid. The courts kept believing he was just being a bitter baby dad. And so he said the mother was dangerous. And they're like, no, she's not. She ended up killing the kid. And that's all they do is just tell the story and say he was never heard. What the hell are you doing about it, though? Like, why didn't you guys take all that money, the budget you made the movie, and expose the judge and sit in his driveway and protest him and disturb his bubble?
Oh. Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm trying to see how to. All right, I'm gonna get the documents. I'm gonna definitely go on the four items of evidence, the 4 rules of evidence. I'm gonna check out the video. I'm trying to see like.
All right, you want to know all the rules of evidence when you go to court, but my video covers like 10 most important ones. You can read all of them if you want. You really don't know every single one, but like those 10. But I mean, if you want to get my video and pay for that, I mean, you could study them and figure it out on your own. It takes longer. My story really gives you time. It's a story. Tune up on your car, but you don't know how to do that. You pay a mechanic to do it instead of learning how to do it. Save time.
Right, exactly.
So in my story, I talk about the three different packets that the third one was the restraining order, the evidence rules, and then also my argument or declaration with the exhibits on what's the best interest of the child and all the science and all the data out there.
Okay.
Or you could go on my flow page and in the must-see section, all the stuff I'm in the must-see section, the statistics, the data. You said you saw the link to the interrogatory sample.
Yes.
That divorce court video that's 2 minutes long. You could quote people out of there if you wanted to and didn't want to get my packet on that. And then I have a couple other links in there. I forget off the top of my head, but one of them's a 400-page book called The Case for Custody for Dad, The Case for Father Custody. But that guy just explores feminism and how they screw stuff over. It's a 400-page book. You can read that in your leisure, read a couple pages a day, and just check it out. But that's not necessary. That's more for entertainment, so guys can know that stuff. Well, it talks about the culture of the court or how we got here, because women 100 years ago said we need to remove the father from the family. Women have been talking about it for a century, and here we are.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. I'm scared to even have a relationship with anybody right now. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Right. There's nothing more outside of food, water, and air. There's nothing more important in a child's life than the father. If you said that in court, what she would probably say is, oh, you're saying you're more important than mother? You can say, I didn't say that. I said there's nothing more important than me. The mother and I are equal. That kind of goes without saying. Why would you assume that I said that? Why are you so easily triggered about that? I said there's nothing more important outside of food, water, and air for them kids to live and survive. And the food and the water comes with provision from a parent. So really it's kind of air is the only thing that's more important than a father.
Right.
So that being said, you need to unbrainwash them when you go to court. I say this court system got it all backwards, and the court system needs to change, just like the Jim Crow South needed to change, rape culture court needed to change, courts around World War II treated Japanese folks badly, just like Nazi Germany courts needed to change. The culture of the court has a bigotry against me that needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you. I'm gonna get on this freaking play back this call.
How did you find me, by the way? The algorithm just pulled me up, or were you looking for a specific topic?
I think the algorithm. I mean, once I got through Rick W. with the paperwork and all his stuff, I got some of his paperwork. Your videos just started popping up, and
Okay.
yeah, and I've just been binge watching those. But yeah, you're more on the custody side of it, which is great because I want to hit them from every angle possible, if I can. If I could have a child support case going on and then another hearing scheduled at the same time, I want to be present in that courtroom. I want to wear these people down. So.
Right.
In every way, in any way possible. So, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with writing out pleadings and doing that and handing it in. Well, I have a certain clerk that has to work with me now. She has to accept all my paperwork. So I have a clerk now that's gonna come down and take all my paperwork and file it with no issues anymore from now on. But I had to work to that.
Yeah.
With the habeas corpus and all that stuff. You mentioned file the habeas corpus against somebody else too, against something else. I forget.
That's a you have a court order and she's not handing the child over. You get rid of habeas corpus to get your kid.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll be ready for that then. Write a habeas corpus against my ex. But I thought the habeas corpus.
You have to have the court sign a habeas corpus so the sheriff can go get your kid. A habeas corpus is like a warrant for a person.
Right.
It means it's
because she's withholding property.
It's a demand to get in front of the judge to hear the merits of your case, but it's also a warrant for a person. So there's a couple of rules of habeas corpus. Right.
I mean, she's withholding my property, stuff like that. So, okay.
You can sue her and say if she has $10,000 of property. You sue her small claims court for that. She won't hand it over, so you get a judgment against her for the value of it. Garnish her wages.
Okay. All right. You give me a few ideas to go with, but I'm definitely following this custody pleading with the case laws that you mentioned. I'll definitely make sure I'll write it up with the introduction, with the chapter 1 or the part 1, part 2, part 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. Do I get the deposition papers?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can hire an attorney to do a limited appearance deposition. That's the easier way to do it. Because if the attorney writes up a subpoena, then they have to go and honor that. You can call around and ask attorneys, like, could I get somebody to do a limited appearance deposition? You just pop in, do a deposition for me, and leave. You just send a subpoena to her and her attorney for her to show up at a deposition, get a court reporter, and ask if they have if they do depositions at their office, and just have the deposition conducted at the court reporter's office. Because you wouldn't be having an attorney and doing it in the conference room at the attorney's office. And then you just grill the crap out of her and depose her. I just posted on the YouTube Shorts. I just had a guy in Washington here. He did his own deposition and destroyed the mother.
Do you know how?
A guy in Texas, he did 4 depositions. He found out from one witness his baby's mom was trying to put a hit on him.
Oh, shit.
So,
do you know how much that process might be if I ask for a limited depo from a lawyer, like a lawyer?
Whatever that attorney wants.
Right.
No, I don't do hard stuff. I want a big fat retainer that I can milk you for, and they don't like depositions. But
okay.
Might be an attorney or two who's willing to just pop in. But you ask them, would your office be willing to do a limited appearance deposition for me? I'll pro se on my case. All I can afford is a deposition. They say, well, that's super expensive. There's a cost. Say, look, I only need to grill her for 30 minutes or an hour. I just need to get these questions down. You should ask questions like, do you think parents are important in kids' lives? If she says no, then you can destroy her with that. Do you think both parents are equally important? If she says no, you can destroy her with that, saying that the mother's more important for her daughter. You ever heard of the tender years doctrine?
No. Nope.
That was a thing courts used to follow. Excuse me. Just swallowed something down the wrong pipe. So that was a thing the courts used to follow, saying the tender years the kids need their moms more. It's been eliminated from South Carolina's law books. It is kind of getting outdated because it was invented in Europe 160 years ago, and now we have modern psychology science says bullcrap to that. So if she says anything like that, then say the 10 years doctrine has been eliminated from the court system and from the law in some states. And it's 160 years old. Are we really going to the caveman days in Europe for science now?
Right. Crazy. Okay. That's a good. Added that.
And then if it comes down to it, you can do your own deposition. There's nothing that says you can't write a subpoena yourself, even though attorneys have subpoena power. They may not honor it, so you can motion the court to obtain a subpoena. The judge sign. You go to the emergency courtroom and say, I need a subpoena for a deposition. And the emergency courtroom or ex parte courtroom, if they have them there, or maybe the judges do all the emergency motions and orders, they have them there. And the judge signs a subpoena or signs an order saying the clerk shall issue a subpoena or sign the subpoena. You have a subpoena ready to go saying, come and appear at this court reporter's office on this day or whatever. And then you get the judge it's a two-step process. The judge makes an order that the clerk will sign it. You go to the clerk and the clerk stamps it and embosses it with their seal and signs it. And boom, you got a subpoena for them to show up. They don't show up, you can do a contempt motion for them not showing up at the deposition. You go to the crap out of her like it's trial.
Right. Is there any way that I could subpoena the original contract that she went in there and used and put my social security number on there? Because there's fraud all over the place, and she definitely stole my identity with the whole social thing.
Wait. What are you talking about? The original what?
The original application for her to get on child support. I remember she asked me for my social security maybe like a few weeks prior of me being put on it. And then I'm trying to get subpoena.
I mean, everything that she applied file, if you're talking about administratively or through the system and stuff, you'd probably have to subpoena records to those specific people, and you can write up your own subpoena and send them off and sign them. And then I just had I'm suing this chick for playing me and using me up and abusing the system against me. I had to get a restrainer against her, and she tried to do a bunch against me, and I'm suing her for my money back. And she committed romance fraud and played me with screwing 3 guys in the same week. And talking about how much she loved. She was like, I'm a sensitive bitch who just had that she likes somebody else, and why can't you just get over and move on? I'm like, I just found out we've been dating for a year. I just found me the other day, psychotic bitch. And so I sued her, and so I sent off subpoenas like her Cash App, her old job, her apartment. I found out her apartment had like 10 eviction notices for her. They've been trying to get rid of her for a while. And I found out, that her 19-year-old carpet cleaner that she was suing or screwing, he paid her $500 to sleep with her the first time. And in front of him when I found him in her phone, and he was talking shit to me. And so she was talking bad about me behind my back to some 19-year-old punk kid that she was screwing, and he knew, he was a little thirsty dude, getting everybody's sloppy seconds. Right. And she was also screwing her Cheesecake Factory manager boss when she was a hostess, and had like 3 different lives going on. I don't know how she had the time and energy for all that.
Right.
But that being said,
can I use your subpoena, or I'll just find my own subpoena template and then subpoena the actual my ex and the court for the application, or just my ex and the people that filed?
Whatever is in the court should be in the file. Just go to the file and get it. You don't have to subpoena that. But if she did something administratively with DSHS or DCS or whatever, yeah, you'd have to write up a subpoena for them.
Okay, I understand now. Okay. I'm going to get, because I'm trying to find the original contract. They're not showing me. They're not showing my wedding signature on anything because child support is a voluntary thing from both parents, and I never consented. I never signed anything, and they keep on telling me that there's a contract or whatever, but they're not showing it to me ever. They're not showing that. They keep referring to shit that I never signed off on or never consented to. So it's just weird. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only thing that I think you have to attack on that is that, again, we have child support laws that allow the court to order child support be transferred to the other side. But the administrative courts have administrative law judges or administrative office of the court, what they call them, an ALJ, administrative law judge. They're not judges voted in by the people. So they're basically some random dudes in some random administrative unconstitutional facility. Supreme Court just ruled that their administrative stuff is unconstitutional. Now, some lady went on there and said that applies everywhere in the country. It hasn't been done in 49 other states. It's only Minnesota that thinks it's unconstitutional in their state court. But that stuff is unconstitutional. So you can just attack it by, you administrative law judges made a ruling and you're totally out of line, and you probably lose that case, and you'd have to go to the Court of Appeals to get them to confirm that stuff.
Right. But the thing is
here, how this stuff works.
Okay. The thing is, here in Jersey, they actually use actual judges to do it. So the Toomey versus Ohio, where a judge can't be getting, be bought and paid for while he's making rulings that benefits his.
Well, if you're attacking it from the Title 4D thing, then that's a different argument. That's why I asked you earlier: was your child support put in place by a voted-in judge or by the Administrative Division of Child Support administrative judges? By
a voted-in judge. Sorry about that. It's by a voted-in judge. Yes.
Yeah,
from the governor.
I don't think those guys' arguments. Now, I've never followed through with that stuff because I'm not really into upending the entire Division of Child Support system all by myself. But I'd empower guys to go for full custody or 50-50, so there is no child support. That's just my route, which is my main thrust, is just getting guys involved in their kids' lives. So
right.
I haven't looked into it too deep. But I'm telling you my perspective from a superficial understanding. And they're right. And I know there's another guy on Facebook who claims that he's written letters and scared the crap out of Division of Child Support just by writing letters. And I believe it because I've written letters to stop people from violating rights in schools and all that other stuff. And I have a letter writing packet based on that kind of stuff.
Yes, I need that other packet too with your school. Sorry to cut you off, but she's not letting me. She told the previous school, she took my daughter out of school, and now she's homeschooling. I have no idea where she's going to school at, but she left a note with the school saying that not to give me any records, like she had any power like that.
Okay, well, I have a letter in that packet. I actually have like 2 or 3 of them, but I had another guy just wrote, maybe you've seen me talk about that stuff, but
yeah, I did.
Just had a guy write a letter to Texas, and they totally changed their policy. They were basically talking shit to him and saying, no, you can't. And they're treating him like a slave.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right, yeah, that's the one I'm going to definitely get. I'm looking at your flow page.
Yeah, so I think I actually mentioned it, like, that's a close 4th place. Or right behind 3rd place. The letters are probably the 3 that I did the video on. They're the most common and most important things. If anybody does purchase something from my store, it'd be those things. And they're right up there as a letter writing, because people are always dealing with school records, medical records, police. I got, a letter in there about demanding proper conduct from the police. And, it doesn't cover every situation, but it gives people that packet's $45, and every single one of those letters is probably worth $100. That's how much it would cost an attorney to write a letter like that. And, I make it cheap because somebody might come across and say, well, this ain't exactly, I got to start from scratch, but they at least have a template and understand the spirit of the way I'm arguing and demanding stuff from people so they know where to go. It's better than a blank sheet of paper and you don't even know where to start. Like the fact that I even have a skeleton or a structure in and of itself is worth the price and more. So that's kind of the legitimacy or selling point on that. Even if it's not exactly, you got to put some work in. You still got a huge head start. And plus, those things have actually worked for countless people. So,
do you have a form where I could have her stop calling the different local police municipalities on me and not, she's never gotten anything to stick on me ever, but she keeps calling. She keeps on trying to call and
she keeps calling for what?
She claims harassment. She said on the record that
what you need to do is press charges against her for the crime of false reporting, and then I would sue her in small claims court for abuse of the process. Like, you could do it in district court or superior court and go for $100,000 or whatever, but you go in small claims court for like $10,000. And then say, look, she repeatedly calls up, and all I'm doing is trying to see my daughter or whatever, which I have a constitutional right to do, and she's complaining, and she's flattering herself. I don't want anything to do with this chick. I don't want to be with her. I don't care about her and her boyfriend. She can have 5 boyfriends. She could be a polygamist. I just want to be in my daughter's life and have a right to access stuff. And she's saying I'm stalking her because I want to be in my kid's life. This lady thinks that women should make children and the fathers should never be around. What's the real root of her thing? Like, she mentally ill, or she just a vindictive bitch, or she just wanted to cut you off, or she's a scorned woman because you broke up with her? Like,
no,
what's the real root?
She broke up with me. She's vindictive, and she wanted to mess with this other dude. You know what I mean? She wanted to cut me out. The number one power in the world is the power of influence, and from the time she was 3, she got her young, and she's been brainwashing her ever since. I've been trying to call. She blocks my number.
She just wanted to. So now that she got a new boyfriend, she just wanted to secure her new life and separate you from it.
Yes.
Cutting you. Okay. Well, it's child abuse. So she found you a great candidate to create a child with. Were you guys living together or married before?
Yeah, living together. Had a couple of different places. Never married. But she just all of a sudden got, yeah.
Okay, so you're a great candidate to live with and to have a child with, and then suddenly she has a new boyfriend. It doesn't work out, so the child's relationship should be destroyed as if he never existed, which is a form of child abuse, and you should call it nothing less than that.
Okay. I got you. You got my head, you got the ball rolling with me right now, man. I'm ready to freaking do this. Okay. I'm gonna order your packets.
Okay, so to sum it up, the basics of what you need to know and understand. Troxel versus Granville. I have a link to that case.
Okay.
Click on that on my flow page, or you just type in Troxel, Troxel.
Okay.
And you'll find it. That was the nature of the case was the mom wasn't letting the grandparents see their kid, and the father had died. So the paternal grandparents couldn't see the kid. Now, she might have been being a psychotic witch, but the court said, look, the constitutional rights rest with the parents, and we assume that parents act in the best interest of children. So if the children need to see their grandparents, she'll do it. We can't babysit everybody in every scenario, which was a good ruling, even though she's a bit. They can't be emotional and help out the grandparents because she's being a witch. And it actually came from Washington State. Our Supreme Court allowed grandparent rights, even though it's not in the law. So they kind of violated the law.
Right.
Because there are grandparents on the bench in the Supreme Court, like, yeah, grandparents need to see the kids. This lady's being a bitch. And so she appealed and said the constitutional rights are with the parents. You can't do that. And so they reversed it, and they reestablished constitutional rights. There's like 100 years of case law. So anyway, the Troxel versus Granville case, even though it's not your case, there's legal principles in there that you can quote. So Troxel versus Granville, New Jersey law. And I have a link to look up New Jersey case law, so you can also do your own search. There's a search engine there for New Jersey case law. I don't know how I came across it, but it's in my flow page. If you go all the way down, then I have certain links in certain states. And so there's a link to the New Jersey law, and there's a link to look up New Jersey case law. So if you type in New Jersey Supreme Court, child support vacated, or alienation, or reversal of custody. Maybe you find a case where a father custody, you find a case where a father got custody because the mother was alienating. Say, hey, look, our New Jersey Supreme Court affirmed a case where rescued an alienator. Rescue the child from an alienator and place him with the father. That's on point with this case. That's what the court should do. So you got U.S. Supreme Court case law, New Jersey law,
right.
New Jersey case law, and then
I have, yeah, and I also have posts on Facebook of her, basically threatening, saying that she has people in the industry working on her, going to war for her on her behalf, and all this other stuff, like stuff that's kind of like threatening to me. I got all these screenshots and all the weird shit that she's saying on my Facebook.
If she says, I have people fighting for me in court, that's one thing. But if she says she has people who take care of you if you want to fight back, that's another thing.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
You gotta have the words somewhat clear that it's an actual threat.
Yeah, it's more vague. Yeah, it's very vague.
Yeah, like this chick that I got a restrainer against, she turned around and tried to get one against me, and she tried T3, and 4 times she tried. The judge is like, look, you can't keep coming in here. I'm dismissing your case. And she said, fuck you, judge. And then the judge said, you need to get out of here. She goes, I'm not leaving until I get a restrainer. And she turns to me, she said, keep it up, James. Because I was sending process servers to her home to defend myself in her cases, and she felt that was harassing. because my process server saw stuff going on with her, and I snitched on her to the courts because my process servers reported stuff that she's sick